All right. There we go. We are live. What's going on tonight, everybody? What's up, Dan?
What's up? What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Pretty good. We got a special guest joining us tonight, guys. We got Derek on. Derek's going to be making some content for the channel here coming up probably the next week or so. And we've got a fun live stream kind of planned for you guys tonight. We're going to be doing kind of like a talk show style type thing. Dan's going to be moderating. Derek and I are going to kind of be talking back and forth different, concepts, different ideas, all that type of stuff, just kind of answering any questions that we get asked all the time in our comments or in our inbox. We get these questions all the time, and we want to talk about this. So we've got, I think, would you put three questions in there, Dan?
Yep, we got 3 questions. Let me just adjust this real quick. Since I'll be the one doing the questions, I'll put you 2 up at the top. There we go.
There we go. Actually, before we do it, why don't we? You want to do the winner for the fantasy league?
Yes, in just a minute.
We'll wait for some people to hop on anyway, so that'll work perfect.
So, well, first and foremost, we got John's on. So, John, how you doing, buddy? I'm just getting it set up here. Give me 1 minute. Let's see.
What's up, John?
I love that I know that it's John, even though it's only initials that pop up. That's one of the benefits of keeping track of all the fantasy crypto stuff is you learn people's names.
It happens because John's thumbnail, he's the most handsome fellow I've ever seen in my life. So, John, you are a good-looking guy. I think it might be the California sun. And here we are slaving away in New York with our either 80-degree humid as hell days, or it's like 70 or 60 and rainy. So, so we got Jordan on. Jordan, how you doing?
What's up, Jordan? Darren's
What
on.
is up, Darren?
What's up, Darren?
Oh, we got Carl here. Okay, don't worry, Carl. We'll be talking about this a little bit. We got some stuff and things to talk about today, so don't worry.
Yeah, I don't think Derek and I have even been prepped what Dan's got for questions. Dan kind of just pulled 3 questions out that we've been getting asked a lot and everything. So
yeah, John says it's a bromance for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm comfortable with that label. So, all right, yeah, let's get going. Let's do fantasy crypto first. So we'll go with the winner for this past one. And who was it? I can go through. I believe it was it Darren? Did he stay on?
It was.
I'm at home, so I don't have it in front of me, but I'm private messaged it to both of you. So
okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. I got to look through my messages.
I'll pull it up real quick.
All right.
So let's see.
I'm pretty positive it was Darren that did win it. So
yes. All right, so Darren did win.
I know who was in second, but I don't know who won.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody but Darren would have lost big time, I think. So
yeah.
So Darren, reach out to us, and we will get you your $25 of free crypto.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. Put our email.
Jordan says he's from Chicago, so he knows how the crazy weather goes.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Well,
Absolutely.
Let's get to it. So we got a couple questions that they want to know from you guys. So Kyle and Derek, I'll start with on this one. Excuse me. We'll have Kyle go first, and then we'll have Derek answer after. So question number 1, given all that has happened in the last 2 weeks, does your outlook on Bitcoin price change?
I mean, for me personally, no. It gets kind of scary, obviously, when the market's, dumping like it did and everything. But we made a video the other day talking about a lot of what had been going on with Bitcoin was clearly whale manipulation. There's other factors that go into it, obviously, all the FUD that was coming out, but it's all orchestrated. All that type of stuff seems like it was orchestrated at this point. And I can absolutely see a scenario where, it's gonna take a couple months, obviously, before we get back to our all-time highs. At least that's what I think. Once we do get there, though, I could absolutely see a scenario where the sentiment around Bitcoin will have completely flipped back to being mega bullish. The fear and greed index, which measures kind of the level of what's going on in the market, was at an all-time low in terms of fear. I mean, it was at an all-time low at a number we'd never seen before. And if we can recover from that, I mean, what they say, you buy when others are fearful. And if Bitcoin can recover from that, I mean, what a story for people to follow along with, that all of a sudden it comes from, basically, near death, basically, doom and gloom, everybody's saying it's terrible. And then all of a sudden it rises above, beats its previous all-time high, and then just goes so parabolic in a move that we've never seen before, because of the market being so bullish and all of that momentum kind of carrying it up there. So to me, I still think Bitcoin tops 200K. I really do. I think it's going to be somewhere 200 to 250 is kind of where I had it pegged at, back when we first started talking about it on this channel. And I'm sticking by that. Is it possible it goes lower? Sure. A lot of factors have to, dominoes have to fall the right way. But with crypto, anything is possible, and we've seen that. And just as quickly as it dumped over the last 2 weeks, losing 50% in value, it could rise that quickly, without any issues.
Yeah. So, Derek, what do you think? What's your take on it?
I 100% agree. I think that this was all calculated, and we really needed it, honestly, to get to anything over even 150. Just by looking at the chart for Binance or for dominance for Bitcoin, we were going really low, and the lower we were getting, the higher Bitcoin was. We were going to run out of space, so we had to rebound, we had to reset, and so now that we've done that, it's allowing us to surge even higher. So it needed to happen, and I'm not totally convinced that we have hit. I think we've hit our lowest point, but I still think that there may be another dip before we start to head back up.
Yeah. So when you say you think it's necessary and it was needed for Bitcoin, what do you mean by that? You think it's, and I've heard Kyle talk about it before too. Why do you think the dip is important?
Well, Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance really work inverse of each other, and so when one is strong and the other is not, then like the alts are really surging, and which is great for us during this part of life. But when in reality, you've got a chart that has a zero base, and the closer you get to zero, you're running out of space, and it's going to have to turn the other direction. And that's kind of where we were going with as much time that we hope that we have in this market. If you don't have, I mean, we were getting pretty low. So now that we're going back up a little bit, I could see probably another week or two before we start to surge back up. Yes. But there's so many other factors in this that we don't really even think about. Like I was reading an article earlier today that not many people have talked about, and I don't want to take any punches away from what maybe further content, but there's the option contracts are running out in 2 days. Mm-hmm. And those contracts are at the 45K mark. And right now they're worth a lot of money. Yep. But if we can get Bitcoin up to that 45K, now all of a sudden those options are worthless. And that's what the whales like, is their money is safe and secure for themselves. So I definitely see us working our way up towards that. But then I see us because, well, anytime that we have an upsurge like that, then it's going to level out and it's going to reset. So with us being in the high 30s, low 40s, to get up into 48 hours, to get up into that 42 to 45 range, we're looking at another 7 or 15 to 20% jump. Well, then we're going to have to dip a little bit after we do that. So that's why I'm saying I think we're going to have a dip probably going into the weekend. And then I like this going sideways, but not a lot of people do.
Well, I agree. I think for Bitcoin to get back to its previous all-time high, just to get back to that, 60, what was it, 65, somewhere in there. I think that's going to take, a couple months. I don't think it's going to be something that happens right away. However, once it gets back there, that's when I think things are going to drastically change and it just goes berserk. But I think in order to get there, it has to kind of go like what Derek was saying. I think it's got to run sideways for a couple weeks. I really think it needs to, because the market needs to regain confidence. Everybody was really kind of spooked by what happened when it dropped as quickly as it did. For anybody that's been in crypto for a while, or just, in any type of market for a while, that's just kind of another day at the office with what you deal with sometimes and everything. But the knock on Bitcoin has always been that it's extremely volatile, and getting it so that it stabilizes just for a couple of weeks will bring that confidence back in the market, and it starts bringing those people into the market that want to invest their money in it because they see the opportunity there.
Yep, absolutely.
And then as that price rises and continues to go, that's when FOMO kicks in.
Yeah, and Jordan just said he bought the hell out of Bitcoin and Ethereum when it dropped. I think ultimately the end game isn't changed. It's not, like you said, when you want to pull out, it's gonna shoot back up. It's just the patience has gotta. It's hard because a lot of people got in right at the time when things started to be at the peak of being great, and then kind of it dropped a lot. And a lot of people that bought Bitcoin, they bought it at 50,000 or 60,000, and they're saying, well, what the hell? And if you just hold on to it and don't panic sell, good things are going to happen.
Yep.
But that's what's nice about, like, when you're going in a horizontal, not a vertical pattern, is you can start to ride the waves of, you obviously want to buy low and sell high, but you can start to predict where those waves are. And if you can gain 10, 15% every time you hit those peaks and valleys, yeah, you may have initially bought in and lost from 60K down to the 30s or 40s, but every time you gain 10 to 15%, your actual amount of coin increases. So it's not as big as of a hurt, because once you go back up there, now you're holding more coin than you did before, and it's more valuable.
Well, and I think people undervalue the 10 to 15% gains, like what Derek's talking about, because we see all of these, 1,000x projects, and we see, all these things that are just, going absolutely nuts, and people are making huge gains on it. Don't undervalue the fact that, if you can get consistent gains daily or every other day, that's, in the long run, that's where you want to go, because it's the safer bet typically than trying to just kind of speculate on something. It's fun to speculate. We've been making some videos on some projects that we're speculating a little bit on, but I wouldn't put hardly any of my portfolio into those type of ones. Now, if you're going to be doing some trading with Bitcoin or ETH, it might be a little more advantageous to learn that part of it and just try to get those consistent gains, because a 10% gain on, even if you're just starting with, let's say you start with $1,000, okay, and you're getting 10% gains on however much you're putting in when you're doing your trades. Well, as your portfolio grows, guess what? Your trades are probably going to get a little bit larger. And as they do, every time that you gain that percentage, that means you're putting more money into your portfolio. Pretty soon you go from having $1,000 portfolio to a $50,000 portfolio or something like that.
Yeah, that actually segues real quick. I'll put this comment up because I do think that's actually really interesting. But that segues really good into question number 2. So John said he saw an interesting headline: Coinbase overtakes TikTok for #1 position of Apple Store. That's pretty interesting. And that just shows
really interesting.
When I'm on YouTube, literally every single ad right now is Coinbase. Every single ad.
So here's actually here's something else that's really interesting. So Coinbase has USDC coin. It's basically their version of Tether. They just minted, whatever you want to call it, 5 billion more USDC coins. That tells you there is a shit ton of volume in the market right now, and something big is coming. You don't just, print 5 billion of those for no reason.
Yes, absolutely. So let me go on to
all
the
you got to
next
do
one.
is look at the 24-hour volume on CoinMarketCap or on CoinGecko. I mean, the volume's there. It's it's a lot of sideways stuff right now, but it's coming.
So this is a quicker one, and it'll segue again into an altcoin discussion. But the first one, I actually put this one in myself. Should I invest in the meme coin, quote unquote? This is something actually we get asked a lot, and I'm sure Derek's gonna have a different, maybe a similar one, but I'm curious to see what you guys will say. So I'm gonna have Derek go first on this one.
I think that the important thing of any trading is that you eliminate the emotion of it and you have a game plan. And so if you have a portfolio that you've really decided how you want to structure it, 10, 15%, if you want to put that in the meme coin instead of some of these really low alts, then do it. But be disciplined in it. These 10, 15% I'm talking about is not sexy, but it's consistent. The chances of you hitting an 800 or 1,000x, man, if it was really a high percentage, we'd all be doing it, and we would be more than happy to put a lot of our portfolios in it. But the realistic chances of it, or you getting out in time, even if it does, are not very good. So is it something that I think is healthy to have some of? Yeah. I mean, shoot, even if you put 10 to $50 into a couple of them just to spread it out, if you can 1,000 times that, then it'd be worth it to me. But is it something you're going to bank your whole portfolio on, or that you should expect to win on? Just about as much as walking through a casino and hitting the lottery, or hitting the slot machine and thinking you're going to win on one pull.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Hey, those casinos aren't built on people winning. They're and you know what, guys? These exchanges, there's a reason why a lot of these exchanges are, Coinbase, for example, adding Dogecoin. I actually have a very interesting video that I'm going to be filming tonight. Some speculation that I have. I'm not going to give away what it is, but it kind of falls in line with the whole Dogecoin Coinbase thing. There's a reason Coinbase is adding Dogecoin, not because they believe it's a great project. They see the money that is flowing through that. They see all of the fees that they are missing out on. I mean, millions of dollars, because there's so much trade volume on that, and they want a piece of it. And you can't blame them, especially now, since they are a publicly traded company. They got shareholders that they have to keep happy. So they need to continue to keep on growing. So
just like everything, follow the money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would agree 100% with Derek on that. You know what? I've got a few speculative picks. You guys all know that we're pretty transparent on here as far as what we invest in, what we don't like, and everything. And I think it's healthy to have, like he said, 10% somewhere in there of your portfolio into those long shots. But make sure, actually, I should preface that by saying, make sure your portfolio is where you want it to be first. If you're starting off with $500, don't invest in meme coins. Put that in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's it. If you got $1,000, spread that out a little bit more. But again, keep it in, keep it in some of the most solid projects, because that's where you're gonna see the best return on that, and it's at least the least likely that you're gonna lose that money. You start getting up to $5,000, $10,000 or more. That's when, okay, yeah, maybe we can take a long shot on something. And like he said, throw 10 or $50 on it and see what happens. Even if you're only right on 1 out of 10, that one could easily make up for the other 9 that you missed on, plus a lot more.
Yeah. All right. Well, that segues us into the next question. Going into the altcoin, $1,000 in my account. What altcoins should we be paying attention to right now? So, Kyle, I'll have you go first on this one.
I think a lot of it depends on if you're looking to go the safer route, or if you're looking for what's the most undervalued right now, or what has the biggest potential for gains. I mean, you guys know I love Ethereum. I'm going to leave that off on this one right here, even though I do think next to Bitcoin, that's the safest one. I'm going to go a little bit deeper down. I still like smart contract platforms. I would still be looking for some smart contract platforms. I like Solana at the price that it's at. Same thing with Polkadot. I like both of those at those prices that they're at right now. I think that they are undervalued. We've seen what they can do. We've seen how far that they can actually go. And I think that they still had a lot more room to go even past that. So I like both of those. And if I'm looking into another space, I would probably go the DeFi route and look for something like, Aave, like a liquidity protocol or something like that. Again, because we've seen how quickly that can rise. Aave is one of those interesting ones where it'll do nothing for a couple months, and then all of a sudden it just has a massive pump and it goes crazy. So, and Polygon, not where it's at right now, but if Polygon drops back down to a better price, that might be a good one too. I mean, scaling the Ethereum network is a great project.
All right, so Derek, what do you think?
I think that there's going to be, I mean, as if I say right now, I can give you a list, but I think that there's something else to watch out for, that when the Ethereum 2 comes out, there's going to be a lot of changes. I think Ethereum is going to be quickly outdated, and already is. That's not going to devalue it, but it's definitely something you need to look out for and stay ahead of. I think, like, for me, my biggest holding is Solana. I really buy into Solana, but at the same time, if you look at the charts and you look at the value of how little things have fluctuated, Cardano is bounced right back really fast. And it's got a lot of things that are on its network that are staying strong. So I think DOT right now is probably the best bang for your buck. I mean, on Sunday, I kicked myself because I wasn't by my phone. It dropped down to $15. Yeah. If you'd have bought, $15, even $100, it was 28 the next day.
Wow.
I mean, talk about a quick change of flipping some money real fast.
Yeah.
Well, and I think as both of those really start to get projects coming out of like Card Starter and Polka Starter, I think it's going to increase it. I'll tell you, the other ones to watch are the DEXs, Pancake Swap, Uniswap.
That's where I was going right next.
1 inch, any of those right now. DEXs are so popular.
But you have to know why, and that's the awesome thing is the reason that it's in the news, and the U.S. government is not going to allow us to get rid of it. People think that we are limited, which we are, but what's going on is they're trying to figure out how to monetize our taxes for their benefit, and that's what they're trying to figure out, and that's why these other swaps are going to be even more important, is because they are on the Binance.us and Coinbase, which are the main ones that they're targeting. You're going to be able to, quote unquote, legally, or whether you want to call it that or not, hide your money a lot easier on these other platforms. And that's why they're going to be more valuable.
Which one, if you had to pick out of, let's just say, if you had to pick out of Uniswap, Pancake Swap, or Sushi Swap, which one would you go with right now?
I think Uniswap.
I would go either between that or Pancake Swap. Pancake Swap, the only difference that I see is that's Binance Smart Chain, and the transactions are going to be, because you're using BNB, transaction fees are going to be a lot.
There going to be a lot less fees. That's right.
That one right now, but as ETH 2.0 rolls out, gas fees are supposed to be dropping and everything. So I like either one though, and you guys know me, I love anything that has the anything that's built on Ethereum. I'm really bullish on.
And competition between Binance and Ethereum is going to help drive those prices down. Right now, up until this point, there wasn't a lot of competition to help do that. And so as these other ones gain strength and numbers, then that's going to help everybody in the market.
Oh, yeah. Bart says Uniswap all day. I love Uniswap. It's a great platform.
When Bart and I are on the same page, then magic happens. So
it's interesting that Carl brings up Harmony. That's the video for tomorrow. So it was actually supposed to come out today. Had technical difficulty, so we ended up going with the Siacoin update video today. But Harmony is all filmed and ready. I just got to put the thumbnail together for tomorrow. So great pick on that though, Carl.
I like VeChain too. I mean, the VeChain's one that that if you've got a very widespread portfolio, you're able to. That's one that it really hasn't been news that China hasn't allowed their people to buy into altcoins because they when they can invest in things, they have to invest in China, and that's what VeChain's going to allow them to do. So if they ever do open up this investment of crypto to the Chinese people, VeChain's going to soar. So it may be worth having 100 coins just stashed for that day to happen, because it may not be in the near future, but it will happen eventually.
Yeah. So Jordan wants to know what the USDC coin is and what is the purpose of it.
Yeah, so Jordan, USDC is, and this actually is interesting because a lot of people ask us this question, and we plan on making videos about this, but like crypto exit strategies and stuff like that. But USDC is basically Coinbase's version of Tether. Tether is a crypto that is basically tethered to the US dollar. It's meant to be something that doesn't fluctuate up or down really. It's supposed to be very, very stable. And basically the idea behind it is it's a way when you're trading out of something. Let's say that you bought Bitcoin at $5,000. Let's say that you got it early, you got it at 5,000 and it made it up to 30 and you wanted to sell. And you want to secure your profits, but you don't necessarily want to take them out and put them in your actual bank account. You don't want to pull it off from Coinbase in this instance. What you would do is you would move that, you would trade that Bitcoin that you want to sell into USDC. And that is Coinbase's stable coin, where that's basically telling Coinbase, hey, I want to leave this money on the exchange I want to keep it in this crypto right here. So whatever I'm selling that for, I want to lock it into USDC so that I don't, my value doesn't go up or down. It stays pretty much the exact same until I can figure out what my next move is.
And that's if you pay attention to coin market cap, that's why Tether's sitting at number 3 right now. When everything crashed, people took their money and they bought out, whether they, in my opinion, they shouldn't have anyway, but that's what they did, is they put it into something that's stable until they can figure out what's going to happen. Then they're going to buy back in, and it's not going to be in the top 10 anymore.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. So we have one last one, and then we can answer some more questions. So what is a good exit strategy?
There you go. Perfect transition into that one right there. You want me or Derek to start that one?
I'll let Derek go first.
Well, I think it depends on your long-term or short-term strategy in general. What your goal is. I think there's a lot to be said for a mindset of the U.S. dollar, whether we like it or not, is drastically dropping every day. I even try in my Amazon training, when you're talking about freight and you're complaining about prices going up, you got to realize from a global perspective, the American dollar is going down. So 6 months go by and all of a sudden you're like, why did my bill go up? Well, because your dollar doesn't go as far as it did 6 months ago. So you got to start looking at things from against Bitcoin or against Ethereum or whatever coin you want to get the most of. And so like when things crashed, I didn't freak out because to Bitcoin, the other coins didn't really fall that far because they fell in unison with. So then I'm farming, trying to get more Bitcoin, and I'm actually gaining more wealth than losing it, even though everyone around me is freaking out. So from an exit strategy point at the end of this, I'll probably throw some stuff into Tether for a while, see how things play out, and then buy back in at the low. But as far as pulling out into US dollar, I don't see that as being a long-term or a short-term benefit for anybody.
Yeah, I agree. For me, to me, it's all about dollar cost averaging. I think it's one of the simplest ways for people to get in and get out. And that's what I try to do. I try to stagger my buys when I'm buying something. I bought some more Bitcoin over the weekend. I didn't buy all of it on one specific day. I would say, I would look at it and say, okay, I want to put, this much into it. I want to put $1,000 into it, or 2,000, whatever you're putting in, 500, whatever it is. Just say, okay, I don't want to put it all in right now. I'm going to say, okay, I want to take a quarter of it and put it in on Saturday. Let's monitor it, see where it's going. And then either Sunday or Monday, I might buy some more, and you kind of ladder it on the way up or on the way down. And then same thing when you're selling it, be willing to, not every project has to be 100 times, gain on it. It's okay to take smaller gains, and they all start adding up and everything. So you kind of ladder those sells that you're going to be doing on the way out too. And I agree with Derek. I don't really plan on taking it and pulling it out into US dollars, because you're going to lose so much value on that money that you just made. You just made a ton of money, and you're going to lose all that value. Some of that, yes, I'm going to pull it into Tether and then, kind of figure out what I want to do with it. A lot of it, yes, I'm going to pull it out, let everything go down, and then I'll probably reinvest a lot of that into Bitcoin and Ethereum first and foremost as they drop, because I'll be able to buy a much higher amount of them than what I have based on the gains that I've gotten, and you can buy them at a really cheap price. The other option a lot of people don't think of, but it's out there, is you can get like a crypto.com card. You can get, Gemini has their own card now. Coinbase has their own card. So if you want to be able to spend your crypto, basically, you can do that. You don't have to pull that money out and put it in the bank account. If you want to be able to keep it still in the market, go ahead and get a card like that. And a lot of them, like Gemini's card, I know does, and I think Coinbase's does too. They have, kind of like a cashback reward thing, but it's not in cash. It's actually in crypto. So you get, 3% Bitcoin back on your purchase or something like that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we got a couple questions now. So let's see. Oops. There we go. What do you guys think about Cartesi?
I love Cartesi. That's actually one, we've got a video that's going to be coming out probably next week. I think it's a great project. I'm very, very bullish on Cartesi. I think that, them getting listed on Coinbase is huge. That was one of the more recent listings that Coinbase has done. And I think the project is great. So we'll definitely be having a video coming out about that. Probably, I would say probably next week, either late this week into the weekend or next week.
Then we got possibly the greatest YouTube name ever, Kishu Rocket. They want to know which one. All right, gun to the head. You had the choice between the 4. Which one would you guys each pick? I'm just curious.
I would go Shiba Inu.
Okay.
I think I would too. They have too big of a following, and I did the update video on them the other night.
They're starting to have a use case.
What's that?
They're working on having an actual use case.
That's the crazy thing is like they actually have such a big following, and they actually do have a team that cares. Like they actually seem like they're at least trying. Plus, they are starting to get some celebrity backing and stuff like that. So obviously, invest at your own risk, not professional financial advice. None of this stuff ever is, but I would say Shiba if I had to pick out of the 4.
And I'd say Doge is a close second. Doge is as much as I and everyone, not many people listen to me anyway, especially my kids who are going to bed still. But like literally, I think it's the dumbest thing in the world that it's literally a joke, but people are making thousands of dollars on it. But now that it's being set, I mean, the younger generations, which makes me even feel older, is pretty much telling us, you're going to tell me this isn't worth anything. Well, I'm going to stick it to you and prove that we're going to make it something. And by it becoming something that can be used in commerce, that's exactly what it's becoming. Now, it doesn't have the use case that Shiba Inu does, but their leadership is saying, listen, we got this spotlight. Let's not waste it. And they're going to turn that into something I think that you could actually put value on.
Well, and I agree. And I think you're going to continue to see the rise of these, quote unquote, meme coins, shit coins, whatever you want to call them, because TikTok, I think, is the great equalizer. I think, TikTok, there are a lot of people on there that are just, that's all they talk about. And, hey, to each their own, that's everybody has their own strategy, and that doesn't mean that they're right or wrong. But TikTok really is kind of the great equalizer in terms of the growth of these. Same thing with Reddit. Those two right there, they build up big communities of people, and all you got to do is look at what happened with GameStop and the whole Wall Street bets thing, and that happens in crypto all the time.
And it's important to have a pulse on that. You don't have to follow it, but have a pulse on what's going on, because there will be trends on that.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So Javier wants to know about Frontier. Start with that.
I like Frontier. That's on the list of projects to cover. I haven't had time to make a video for it yet. I'm not invested in it personally, but I do like the project. I have a problem. I have a lot of projects that I like, and it's hard to decide sometimes, do I want to put more money into Ethereum or one of these other projects that I think are probably a safer bet, or do I want to put those funds into Frontier or something like that?
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, like, I only follow the things that I invest because I really put time into the charts. I don't like to pick different coins. I'll research what I'm already in and make sure I know what I'm in and what reasons I'm in for them. And so, like, I just pulled up ZRX. I just randomly picked one. And so, like, literally, if you pull up the chart of ZRX and you compare it to Bitcoin, which you guys can easily do on CoinMarketCap, is the easiest place to do it. I look at the 1 month chart. But if you look at the chart, and especially if you look at it from May 20th on, it's it's not on the same dollar amount, obviously, but it's almost wave for wave identical to Bitcoin. And so what's nice about that is as you see what's happening with Bitcoin, you can kind of predict that is going to follow in the same footsteps as Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin starts to get back to its peak, then you can expect, in theory, ZRX to do the same thing, which right now is trading at about $1, and its peak is about $2.20. So you can double your money, in theory, again, following the charts. As long as it follows the steps of Bitcoin, which it has been, in the next 4 to 6 weeks on something like that, you should be able to double your money on.
Yeah,
that's the kind of things I look for. And
ZeroX used to be, if I remember correctly, I've never invested in that one personally. I've looked into it, a bunch of times. I've never invested into it, but if I remember right, that used to be back in 2017. That was at least a top 20, might have even been a top 10 project, and now it's like just kind of clinging into the top 100. So it's definitely it's down in terms of overall market cap comparatively to other projects right now. But I can remember when that was one of the best projects in crypto.
January 2018, it was almost 250.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So we got an interesting one here from Luis. He says, "Are you guys still buying Ethereum and Bitcoin at these current levels?" And I think we know the answer to that. But
yeah, I mean, personally, yes. I mean, all you have to do is look at where they both were. Bitcoin about a month ago after the Coinbase IPO, and Ethereum just a couple weeks ago. And I mean, even if they just get back to those levels, Bitcoin can almost double your money, and Ethereum, that's a little higher at this point, but you're still going to make a nice gain on it. And I think they're going way past that.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I have a 3 times a day phone call with my dad because I'm helping him day trade Bitcoin. So literally we discuss where we're looking to buy, where we're looking to sell throughout the day. So yeah, Bitcoin is something that we've been daily buying since it went down.
Well, this is actually a good question.
We got to wrap it up after this one there, Dan, because I got to.
Yeah, I know you got to. Yeah,
I got to.
Real quick. So Kyle obviously loves Ethereum more than anything in the world, probably even more than his wife and kid. The question here is, should you trade Ethereum for Ethereum 2.0 or invest in both? That's a good question, Jordan. So I'll have Derek go first on this one, and we'll wrap it up quick.
Diversification is something I will always preach. So I would say you have both. Right now, Ethereum is proven, so I would not steer away from Ethereum. Until Ethereum 2.0 comes out. They work. I mean, there's always going to be bugs. You don't know what's going to jump on that system. It's supposed to be faster. It's supposed to be cheaper in gas fees, but none of that's been proven yet. So stick with what's proven. Stick with what you know, and then we'll learn it as we go. And if you've got to eventually switch over to it, we'll know when to do it and how to do it and come up with a plan for it.
Couldn't have said it better, I don't think. I think that pretty much covers it. Do you have anything else to add, Kyle, for that?
No, sorry. I was actually just reading an article on here. So, interesting. No, sorry. I was reading an interesting crypto article on there. So, no, I think really good show. I like this. I like this format. If you guys like this format, let us know. Let us know in the comments, because we're happy to do this one week and kind of mix it up like that. We'd like to get some more people on too. So if anybody has ideas or feels like they want to come on and give their opinions, let us know. We're happy to bring some more people on too and have fun with it.
All right, guys. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Good night, everyone.